joining us for our children's message today. I'm Pastor Kristin, and I am so excited that you are here because we are talking about something super, super awesome and special. I want you to brainstorm for a little bit. Who in your life has helped you to learn about God? I know for me in my life, my pastors have helped me to learn about God. Some of my teachers. I remember when I was little, my Sunday school teachers helped me to learn about God. My friends helped me to learn about God. People who are different than I am, who look different than I do, who think differently than I think, they have helped me to learn about God too. So what about you? Who has helped you to learn about God? Well, today in our Bible story, if you have your Spark Story Bible, we're going to be turning to page 122, and we're going to hear a story about this boy named Samuel. And Samuel learns about God and hears God, but there's this older man named Eli who helps Samuel to learn more about God. So let's go ahead and read the story together and see how Eli helps Samuel to learn more about God. God calls Samuel. Samuel was a 12-year-old boy who lived in the temple with a priest named Eli and learned about God. Eli took care of Samuel, and Samuel helped take care of Eli because Eli was almost blind. One night, something special happened. As Samuel slept in the temple, he heard a voice call out, "Samuel." Samuel thought it was Eli calling, so he jumped up from his bed. "Here I am," Samuel answered as he ran to Eli. "I'm here because you called me." But Eli shook his head. "I didn't call you. Go back to your bed." Samuel did as he was told and fell asleep quickly. A little while later, the voice called again, "Samuel." This time, Samuel was more tired and crawled out of his bed more slowly. In Eli's room, Samuel rubbed his eyes, scratched his tummy, and said with a yawn, "I'm here because you called me." Eli was getting tired of Samuel coming into his room and said more firmly, "I didn't call you. Now please, Samuel, go back to bed." When this happened yet a third time, Eli thought to himself, "Aha, it must be God who is calling Samuel." Eli told Samuel, who was now very confused and sleepy, "If you are called again, just say, 'God, I hear you, and I will do whatever you want.'" When the voice called again, Samuel did as Eli told him. It was God, and God had many things to say to Samuel. Even though he was only 12 years old, Samuel wanted to serve God. With God's help, Samuel grew up to share many messages from God. People all over Israel knew Samuel as God's trusted prophet. So all of these people in your lives that help you learn about God are such special people because they help us to realize what God is calling us to do. And Samuel realized when he was just 12 years old that God was calling him and that God had special plans for him. So what do you think God might be calling you to do in your life? Maybe you're called to be a preacher, like me or Pastor Luther. Or maybe you're called to play the piano or the organ like Evan. Maybe you're called to make beautiful quilts for people like our quilting group. Maybe you're called to build beautiful things like stained glass windows. Maybe you're called to be a cook and serve food to others or work at a restaurant. Maybe God is calling you to work outside, to tend to God's beautiful creation. No matter what God is calling you to do, God has a very special purpose for you. So make sure, especially this week, to listen for God. Amen. See you next week.